British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's campaign in Labor heartland has been derailed by his handling of a photo of a sick boy on a hospital floor, putting the focus back on the UK's health system. Live to London now, where Laura Jays joins us. Laura, that's not what the PM wants to be talking about this late in the stage.
No, he doesn't. He wants to be talking about getting Brexit done. It's become a mantra for Boris Johnson. And today he was in Grimsby, and that is Labor heartland to the north of where we are at the moment. This is an area that if he is to win a majority on Thursday, he needs to win some seats and pick up some seats in that area. Now, Labor heartland, these people have voted Labor their whole lives, but they're also leavers. So Boris Johnson, the Tories, are hoping to cash in on that. But as you say, Pete, his campaign was somewhat derailed. He was shown a photograph of a sick 4-year-old boy lying on the hospital floor just a couple of months ago, and putting the focus back on the NHS. Now, Boris Johnson grabbed the phone and put it in his pocket, and it was quite a weird situation, which sparked all these now calls for more funding for the NHS. Now, this has been one of the, number 1 or 2 issues for the entire campaign, and it completely derailed any talk about Brexit today.
People ask questions about this, and I simply say this. The Tories have had 9 years to fund our NHS properly. It's time to bring their regime to an end and elect a Labour government that's determined to fund our NHS properly.
Today, when you're shown that picture of the 4-year-old boy on the floor of an A&E department, you take the phone away and put it in your pocket. What does that say about how much you really care?
Well, Paul, I think I've answered that question. I don't know whether but we are not only investing in children's services in Leeds, but we're also rebuilding the whole Leeds infirmary from top to bottom.
So it wasn't a great day of campaigning for Boris Johnson, but a bit of a bump in the road, you might say, Pete, in the lead up to Thursday. On the other side of politics, Labor, well, the Shadow Chancellor did unveil more economic budgetary details today, saying essentially the last couple of years, 10 years of Tory austerity has not worked, and it's time to reclaim the economy. So we are starting to get into the business end. The economic focus on Labor's policies will be quite interesting indeed. I'll be going through whether it all adds up with Adam Crichton a little later in the morning too, Pete.
That coming up in about an hour's time. Laura Jay's live in London. Appreciate it, Laura. We'll talk to you soon.
This will be extremely unwelcome for Boris Johnson and the Conservative Party, with just 3 days to go until the election. They were hoping to go into northern areas, constituencies that have traditionally voted Labour, and hammer home their core message about Brexit. These are constituencies which voted Leave, that are upset that democracy hasn't been carried out, and the Conservatives were hoping to kind of make a smash and grab for these votes. But here you have him now having to talk about a subject that he really didn't want to have to talk about: the NHS, austerity, cuts after 9 years of Conservative government. So this will be extremely unwelcome, but it's good news, of course, for Jeremy Corbyn. He will be making great capital from this. Certainly for the Labour Party, they are now on political terra firma when it comes to the NHS, and they will be pushing this message. Don't be deceived by Boris Johnson when it comes to anything he says, because he doesn't care about ordinary voters, and they will be pointing to this photograph which has gone viral on social media of this 4-year-old boy, Jack Wilmot Barr, lying on a hospital floor with suspected pneumonia in Leeds Infirmary.